Just a few days ago, Funko finally revealed the 2025 exclusives for New York Comic Con. I'm DK Wrestler, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking each of these exclusives from the worst all the way until the best. So I'm going to start off what I feel is the worst and gradually work one by one with each exclusive until what I feel is the best exclusive of this year's convention. And if you end up enjoying this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, but nonetheless, let's begin this list. Starting off with the worst being the new Pop Flare. This is honestly very pointless. All this is just adding an accessory to your Funko Pop box, especially if you do have pops on shelves and you stack one on top of another. You can't really display the Pop Flares with these. So I just find it to be very pointless, and that it just makes more sense if it was not a Comic-Con exclusive and that you can buy them at a local retailer. Up next, we have the Blueprint Batgirl and Joker Pops. I get it that they are limited to 2010 pieces based off the year that Funko Pops were created, but this just gives me the vibes like an Artist Series Pop. I just feel like this is just another version of the Artist Series. The metallic silver followed by the metallic gold Jolly Jacko from The Friends. Now, already I wasn't a fan of the original one that released for New York Comic Con last year, but at least with that one, it's the normal look of this character, while all they're doing is just a color switch, and a very terrible color switch. And the reason I went with gold more than silver is because at least the gold fits more with the original orange color rather than the silver does. The Freddy Funko Biddy City set followed by the Franny Funko Biddy City set. Now, I really dislike this announcement because these are exactly the same as the ones that were announced for San Diego Comic-Con, except a different color switch. It would have been much better if they switched the characters with, let's say, a Proto and maybe someone else, rather than just adding the same exact thing except a color switch, but a much better color switch than the ones we had with the V-Friends Pops. The Batman Fun Force followed by the Batgirl Fun Force, and then the Joker Fun Force. I know that a lot of people do love these because this is how Funko Pops were originally made, with that clamshell packaging, but at the same time, that's all it really is. It's just repurposing a mold from back in the day, but adding that clamshell packaging, which honestly, the clamshell is probably more difficult to display than the regular box. The DC Comics mystery boxes. Now, I will admit, I like this version of the mystery box more than the Huckleberry Hound ones that were released for San Diego Comic-Con, because at least with this box, you do have various characters instead of the one same character but a different color. But once again, all this is just taking that classic mold but adding a metallic specification. Probably better off going on the secondary market and actually finding these pops for probably much cheaper than you would by buying these mystery boxes. The Facet Orko from Masters of the Universe. Now, normally a Facet pop would be much lower on the list because it is a very dumb specification, but at least with a character like Orko, it's been a while since we had a pop of him, so it's cool to kind of get a new version if you couldn't obtain the original one. The Hello Kitty Pop and Bag. This might be the first time you're actually seeing this because this wasn't actually revealed during the set of reveals. You had to find it during the shared retailers list that was posted. But they've made so many Hello Kitty Pops that I can't tell whether this is similar or very different to the ones they've already done. And speaking with that theme, we got ourselves the My Melody with the pumpkin bucket, as well as the Witch Kuromi. At least with this Kuromi and My Melody, they are fairly different compared to other ones, unlike the ones that were released for San Diego Comic-Con that was just a color change with a metallic specification. And I believe the Kuromi is a limited piece compared to the My Melody, which is why that one is a spot higher. Damian Wayne from the DC Comics lineup. Now, this pop is okay, but I do feel it's a little bit plain compared to not only some DC pops we've had in the past, but even some of the DC pops that we have on this list. The Paw Encyclopedia Sakura from Naruto Shippuden. Now, all year Funko has done this trend with the Paw Encyclopedia, and now we have another character with it, but I do like the aspect of like the hard eyes involved with this. Nimrod followed by Havoc for the X-Men set. Now, overall, I think they did a pretty good job with Marvel as terms to New York Comic Con, but I do feel Havoc has a little bit more detail than Nimrod, which is why it's a spot higher than the Nimrod. Sonic with Caliburn from Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I kind of figured that we were going to keep continuing the trend of Sonic the Hedgehog all year round, where we had a common pop of the Treasure Hunter Knuckles, and then for San Diego Comic Con, we had the Buccaneer Shadow. Shadow, so I knew that if they were going to do another Sonic pop for a Comic-Con per se, that it would have been Sonic himself, and I guess this does go along with whatever series that potential Knuckles and Buccaneer Shadow are from as well. The Paranormal Ops Patrol Bitty Pop 4-pack. Now, some of you guys may recognize these pops considering that these are based off of the Funko Ween Series 2 set for the Pop Digital lineup, aka the Funko NFTs, which not only are all these characters pretty rare as the normal version, but more specifically the Franny and the Freddy, and that specific pop was limited to 499 pieces. So now that you have the bitty versions of these, you may be able to get these more likely than getting the actual pops themselves, especially if somehow you do recommend having biddies over regular size pops. The Kingdom Come Superman. Now, I knew this name sounded recognizable because for San Diego Comic-Con we did have the Kingdom Come Batman. So now having the Superman to, I guess, go along with it does make sense, and I do like the, I guess, comic book sketching effect that goes along with this pop as well. The new Batman Beyond. Even though I will admit that the detail is much better with the Superman rather than this Batman, I do have more of a personal reaction when it comes to Batman Beyond over Superman, so that's why it's one spot. The Diamond Collection Lothcat from Star Wars. Now, this is a pretty decent pop and actually something that's a little bit more refreshing compared to some of the Star Wars Comic-Con exclusives we've had in the past, especially because the only way you can get a Lothcat previously is a part of a Pop and Buddy with Ezra Bridger as a part of the Rebel set. So now that we have it here as its own pop is really cool, but it is a little bit iffy of why they chose the pink color, as well as adding a Diamond Collection specification rather than just giving us a normal looking Lothcat. Brainiac from the DC Comics lineup. Now, this is what I was insinuating about a more detailed pop for the DC Comics lineup rather than the Damian Wayne that we discussed about earlier, and I think we've only had one Brainiac pop before, so it is cool to get a newer version here to go along with that one if you already have it. Bedlam followed by Null for the Marvel lineup. Now, both of these pops are very detailed in their own way, and I do feel that the Null is a little bit more detailed because of the fact that you have those red eyes, you got the teeth, and especially what's going on with the outfit and the sword that makes it very unique.
Shout out goes to Sentinel107 and Duh Unacceptable Viewer.
And the reason that they ended up getting a shout out is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shout out, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and it will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. Endo 2 from Five Nights at Freddy's. It's actually kind of refreshing to see a Five Nights at Freddy's pop here because I don't remember the last time we had a Comic-Con exclusive Five Nights at Freddy's pop that doesn't include the first to market Bitty Pop arcade from WonderCon this year. So this is pretty cool and I'm very excited to see potential Five Nights at Freddy's fans get a Comic-Con exclusive pop for the first time in what seems to be a very long time. The Powerpuff Girls 3-pack. Now this is a very exciting 3-pack to be honest because not only are they wearing costumes which goes along with the whole Halloween theme of New York Comic-Con, but it definitely is a better 3-pack than the Diamond Collection 3-pack that we had from San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years back. So if I were to choose either this one or that one from a few years back, then definitely this one is better while getting the commons of the regular pops that San Diego Comic-Con 3-pack was based off. Ghost Freak from Ben 10. Really awesome to see a Ben 10 pop here considering we do have normal Ben 10 pops released with Ben Tennyson along with Heat Blast. Now we have Ghost Freak here once again based on the name and the character. It is more of a Halloween-esque character to go along with the Halloween season that New York Comic-Con is around. The Itachi Susanoo from Naruto Shippuden. Once again, a trend all year round for Comic-Cons for Funko this year are the Susanoos, where we had one for WonderCon as well as having one for San Diego Comic-Con, which I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but all those looked really cool. And now you have this one. I do really like these sets and it would look really nice side by side if you already have the ones from WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con respectively. The Pingu with the Tower towel on the head. It was so awesome seeing the Pingu when it was originally announced for San Diego Comic-Con with that version. Now we have another one here for New York Comic-Con, but part of me kind of likes the OG one more than this specific one. I feel like this is going to end up being like a Pop Plus because of the height of the towel, and it's going to be a much bigger pop than the OG one. Speaking of Pop Plus, the Pop Plus of Rob Lucci, followed by the Brook with Shark Submerged Pop Rides for One Piece. Funko usually kills it with One Piece. It's pretty rare for them to like make a crappy One Piece pop, besides maybe that deluxe they made last year with Buggy the Clown when the normal one was better than that one. But once again, the trend with the rides this year, I definitely do think that this is the best rides of the three that they have done this year. And then I guess we have here the second last pop of this list being the 10-inch Raikou from Pokemon. Once again, keep continuing with trends because we have the Gen 2 legendary dogs, where of course we had Suicune for WonderCon, and then we had Entei for San Diego Comic-Con, and we obviously knew from there that we were going to get Raikou here for New York Comic-Con, which I wish this pop was a 4-inch rather than a 10-inch, because if that was the case, this probably would have taken the cake as the #1 pop of New York Comic-Con. Which then leads to the best pop in my opinion being Dark Paladin from Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've been watching this channel for a long time, you probably knew already I was going to put this pop at #1 since Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a set of pops that I do collect. And this will be one that I definitely add into my collection and will have me do a New York Comic-Con Funko Pop Hunt video when the exclusives release.